Blind individuals have been using canes and walking sticks and staffs throughout history. And in the 1940s, associated with World War II and returning veterans to the United States, Dr. Richard Hoover introduced what he called the white cane or the long cane. And it was considerably longer than any other cane that had been previously used on a regular basis by blind travelers. And as a result of that, it allowed an individual to have a greater amount of freedom and the ability to explore the environment around them much more efficiently than did the shorter cane. There was a greater push to have a symbol to allow blind travelers to be easily identified. The idea of a white cane specifically representing a blind traveler was codified into some of the first white cane laws in the 1930s. It was not until the early 60s, with the advocacy of a number of blind consumer advocacy groups, that President Lyndon Johnson declared the first White Cane Safety Day. That was celebrated first in 1964 and has been an annual event recognized nationally in the middle of October. The idea of the white cane has always been to increase the independence as well as the mobility of blind individuals, but it also serves as a symbol of the general independence of blind individuals in all activities. Often in an urban environment, one of the greatest challenges is street crossing. And more recently here in the Utica area, there have been adaptations and modifications of the configuration of an intersection to make it easier for blind and visually impaired individuals. Most travelers are aware of pedestrian signals located at traffic light intersections. Often these signals show a flashing hand or a walking figure. That particular type of intersection is quite inaccessible to a blind individual who cannot see those particular pictographs, those symbols. Accessible pedestrian signals at corners that incorporate sound in addition to visual. The blind traveler comes up to the corner and is made aware of the presence of a signal by a locator beacon. It does alert a blind traveler to the existence and the presence and the location of the signal. That signal then is often activated by the blind traveler by pushing a button, and that will then create a signal, an audible signal that either indicates to the traveler not to cross,
wait,
or to actively cross a street.
Walk sign is on to cross Bleecker Street. Walk.
Without accessible pedestrian signals, a blind traveler is often at the mercy of the traffic flow itself, and the traveler might be confused as to whether or not they actually have the right of way to make their crossing. Accessible pedestrian signals make that a much easier task for a blind traveler.
As the city continues to grow and we become a very progressive city, some of the elements that you take for granted sometimes is visually impaired. Anywhere we can upgrade the mobility and the flexibility, putting in this type of design of a control for the visually impaired, it's imperative. It's imperative when we're doing our cuts for the ADA compliance, that the little things now that you fully understand what they're for. It's for the visually impaired and for anybody to understand you've come to the point of where you are walking into a safe walkway. I would just say at this point that I love working with Mitch. This is about maybe our 5th year we've worked together on this, and we're always making strides to improve it. Not only did I have the blind folders, I closed my eyes, only to a form of more concentration. I don't know what it is. But that's what I did. I closed my eyes to really try to concentrate more. And today is a day that we find out how important it is to have the type of mobility, flexibility to be able to travel and to walk and feel safe as we all do. And we want to make sure that we're addressing it to the needs specifically for the visually impaired and the blind and also for the handicapped.
Walk sign is on to cross Bleecker Street. Walk